Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Chrissy B Show, and I'm your host, Chrissy B. Now, what happens if deep down you feel like something is wrong with you, but when you ask for help, you're told everything is fine? Well, this was a situation that Kelly Bird, my real life story for today, found herself in. She felt an ache in her breast and sought treatment, but no one could find a lump. But she managed to get some more opinions, and lo and behold, they found a very hidden malignant tumour. She'll be sharing her eye-opening story with us shortly. Well, thankfully, Kelly did take her health very seriously, but we know that many people don't for various reasons, including their mental health. So that's why on today's show, we'll be talking about the importance of self-care. So let me tell you who else we have on today's program. Clinical psychologist Dr Nihara Krause will tell us about why some people neglect their mental health and give tips on mental health self-care. Hannah Richards is here to talk about nutrition that helps prevent cancer. Dr. Rob Hicks answers your medical questions in this week's Doctor's Answers segment. And Helena Chard brings you the news around today's main topic. We also have on business expert Chelsea Baker to talk about achieving happiness in the workplace, which is of course vital to take care of a business. And finally, Sani Soma will be talking about self-care when it comes to beauty. So as you can see, we have lots to sink our teeth into today. So let's kick off our show with our real life story, Kelly Bird. Welcome to the show, Kelly.
Hi, nice to meet you.
It's lovely to have you on the program, my darling. So you've got quite a story, and a bit of an unusual one, I have to say. But can you tell us, first of all, what was your life like before being diagnosed?
Okay, so I'm a busy mum, running around after my 4 children, busy with work, just generally busy life every day with a family, really. Yeah. And
there weren't any like major health issues or anything like that before your diagnosis?
No, healthy and well. Yeah, I was good in that sense. Yeah.
Okay, quite happy then, like.
Yeah, really happy, getting on with family life. I've got a really big extended family, brothers and sisters and things. So, yeah, just getting on really.
Okay. And then when did you start realising something was wrong?
So I worked from home, so I was in the office one day and I kept feeling a dull ache just under my armpit. My mum was with me at the time, and I was like, "Mum, something doesn't feel right." And she said, "Oh, maybe we should get it checked out," and then we left it. But it carried on and I wasn't happy, so I decided, Mum said, "Come on, let's go and get it checked," so we did. And that's what prompted me to go to the GP.
And when you went to your GP, what was it that they said to you?
So she examined me and she said, "I can't feel anything, but we're going to send you to breast clinic just to be sure," because obviously I was a bit concerned because my grandmother and my aunt had breast cancer on my mum's side of the family. Okay. But she couldn't feel anything, so said, "Let's just get it checked out."
Okay, and then what happened when you had the...
So I then got referred to the hospital, got again examined, and the consultant said, "I can't feel anything, but we'll send you for an ultrasound just to make sure there's nothing going on under the armpit and everything."
Okay.
Then I went and had an ultrasound done, and they looked a bit puzzled, so I was then sent off for a mammogram. Yeah. Then to be told that I needed to have some biopsies as they'd found a lump in my left breast.
Right, okay. And when you actually heard that news, what went through your mind?
I literally fell apart. I didn't know what to think. I just literally fell apart. I was really shocked because I never felt it myself. I literally just had a dull ache. So we left the hospital that day, obviously, then having to wait for results. And it was a horrible time, really, really horrible. I just felt really ill. I all of a sudden felt really ill. I didn't know how to cope. I couldn't cope. I really struggled with them 2 weeks. until I got my diagnosis.
And what was the diagnosis that you had?
So they said that I had a 2 centimetre lump, and it was grade 2, stage 2, so it had travelled to my lymph nodes on my left side. My world fell apart, absolutely fell apart. I become very frightened. I stopped eating. I was just an absolute mess. I couldn't deal with my children, whereas normally I'd be the, brightly mum who would get on with everyday things. I struggled to do house chores. I struggled to do everything, basically. Okay. I literally sat in my bed. I would curl up in a ball. I was rocking. My legs would be shaking. Initially you just think that's it. Like when you hear the word cancer, you just think that's it. You're everything's finished. You know, you're going to die. That's the initial thing that came to me.
And how did you actually pull yourself together then after that? Because obviously it was a shock. It's normal to feel that way.
Yeah.
How did you actually manage to kind of start making sense of things and then actually do something and be more positive?
I suppose because I'd always sort of eaten really rubbish foods. I'd never exercised. And they were sort of saying about healthy lifestyle and changing things, and I was like, I need to do this. So me and my mum originally started going out power walking, and I really enjoyed it. And then I started running, and that sort of motivated me to sort of think, actually, I need to be doing something else. I need to find something to cling on to that's going to get me through this. I then started doing some fundraising. I held a coffee morning.
Was this all during your treatment?
This is all during my treatment.
How did you have the energy to do everything? Or was it helping you have the energy to have your treatment?
It was giving me a focus. I think I needed a focus.
So maybe a mental energy.
Yeah, mental energy. It gave me a focus, and it sort of, my kids got involved with it as well. So it helped me sort of get closer to them and move forward with it by grasping onto something that was really positive and giving something back to people that were actually saving my life.
It's strange though, because it's like from someone that wasn't doing any exercise or hardly any exercise to then running marathons, that's quite an achievement.
It is. It's been hard work, I will say that. It's been really hard work. But yeah, I've done a few halves. Got a marathon coming up next year.
Wow.
Got a 400-mile race relay next year with a group of 12 amazing people by my side.
Brilliant.
So.
And who are you raising funds for?
The Royal Marsden.
Okay.
Cancer charity. I was treated in the Sutton branch. So, yeah.
How does it make you feel then to be able to do this as well, to help others, take care of other people that aren't
It makes me feel really amazing, and it really makes me feel good that I can give something back to help so many other people that are going through such a horrible time. I feel really good about it. It's given me a real boost in my life. It's given me some goals as well, making myself healthier and good.
I was going to say, what do you actually like about the running itself as well? Is it just
I never used to like running. I used to hate it with a passion.
I get a stitch, that's why. As soon as I start, I just get a stitch. We have to stop
But no, I really enjoy it now. I feel so good after running, and even my mum and dad. My mum comes out running now.
Really?
Yeah, my mum absolutely hated running. She comes and joins us. We've got a group that train every Wednesday evening. So
that's so nice. You're missing it there.
Yeah, tonight I'm missing it. But yeah, even the teachers from my children's school come and joined us as well. So
that's amazing.
A lot of people have come and joined us. So it's sort of helped the wider community as well by getting a lot of people out exercising and doing stuff for goodness of themselves.
But what was it that actually because I know you started the running and you had to do something. What went through your head? Do you remember that day that you said, right, I've got to do something? Do you remember that day when you made that decision?
Oh, I'm trying to think now. I think it was mainly because I know I needed to change my lifestyle. I had it in my head because I was... Even
before your diagnosis? Or would you say
it was after my diagnosis. It was because of my diagnosis. I was like, I need to change my lifestyle. My eating habits were horrendous, really bad. Really? Lots of takeaways, I will say that. Yeah. Because when you've got 4 children and you're running around, it was easy just to grab a kebab or, something like that.
But now all the kids are also eating healthier.
Oh, the kids are eating, yeah, we did a food chart. The kids are now eating vegetables more so, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And my daughter grabs fruit instead of crisps, you know, drinking water than Coke. I used to drink lots of Pepsi.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But I've lost 2 stone.
How family helped as well? Oh, lost 2 stone. Wow,
I've lost 2 stone by doing it all, so that's really amazing.
Who's been your support, would you say?
My husband, a complete rock. My parents, a complete rock. My friend Zoe, a complete rock. And my kids, they've been there to give their mum a hug when she's needed a hug. And even though I didn't actually tell them exactly what was going on, I just said mum was a bit poorly for a while. They've been there, you know, they've hugged me when I've sat on the bed crying, and my brothers and sisters have been amazing on the end of the phone, always coming around and being there for me. So it is so important to have that support network around you. It is. I really feel it is. It's been lovely to have that support. I'm lucky to have such a wide amount of family and friends to be there for me.
Okay, I have to ask you, how is your health at the moment?
It's good. I got the all clear at Christmas.
Oh, wonderful.
So I'm now just on hormone treatment now.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful.
But yeah, all is good.
So are you going to continue with the running and raising money?
Continue with the running. Yeah? I've got lots coming up.
It's a big hobby of yours now.
I'm loving it, but I'm giving something back, which really makes me feel good.
Amazing.
It really makes me feel good.
Any message that anything you'd like to say to maybe other people that have been diagnosed with something and they're feeling quite down? What would you say to them?
I'd say that you will get through it. It is tough, but if you feel low or down, go and seek help. Go and find someone to talk to, because I still have counselling now, and that has really helped me. Don't ever be alone, ever. There's always someone that you can talk to.
Amazing. Kelly, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And all the best with the future marathons and fundraising that you're doing.
Lots coming up. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks. All right, everybody, don't go away, because after the break we have on Dr. Nihara Krause, who will be talking about why some people neglect their mental health and what can be done about it. And Hannah Richards is here to talk about nutrition that helps prevent cancer.
The first thing that I had to do was talk to someone. And I know sometimes talking to someone about what you're thinking, what you're feeling can be a bit scary, because you might think to yourself, what I'm thinking is not nice. How can I say this to someone? But look, that's the first step for you to be really happy.
Welcome back to today's Chrissy B Show, everyone, where we are speaking about the importance of self-care. So now joining me, I have Dr. Nihara Krause. Welcome back to the show, Nihara.
Very nice to be here, Chrissy.
It's lovely to have you on. Now, you know plenty about this because you've developed your own app and all sorts of things in the pipeline, right? So first of all, can you tell us why is it so important, first of all, to take care of one's mental health?
Well, I think the thing is that our brain health, which is our mental health, needs just as much looking after as our physical health. It is part of our body, and yet people tend to think that our brain just looks after itself. So
it's not the case, is
no,
it?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah. So
why do some people, do you think, neglect it, or they say they don't have time for it?
It's a really interesting question, because we all know some of the things that we have to do. So, for example, I'm sure that you know that you have to have your 5 fruit and veg a day, or that there's X amount of units of alcohol that you should have, and yet, of course, not everybody does it. So there's something in us that knows good information, but somehow resists putting that into action.
Until something bad happens, right?
Absolutely. So that's it. I think often people think, actually, I don't need to, and they wait for something to happen, or they sort of wing it slightly, and just feel that perhaps they don't need to, that they're not going to be vulnerable. So it's a little bit like, waiting for the fire before you put a smoke alarm in, really.
But we're trying to encourage our viewers today to not wait for something bad to happen or negative, to look after yourself now, because it does impact your future. So Nihara, tell us your top tips for taking care of our mental health.
Okay, so if you look at literature, there is absolutely loads of things that people can do to look after their mental health. And to try and avoid confusion, one of the programs that I've developed is a little take on 5 a day for your physical health. So I've developed something called Mind Your 5, which is 5 things that you can do, or 5 categories that you have to focus on to look after your brain health or your mental health. So they follow 5 things that you have to do, and they follow the acronym HAPPY. So the first one, for H, is healthy practice, which really means, you know, it's important to look after your body if you want to look after your mental health. So you need to have adequate sleep, for example, and in adults we have to have at least 8 hours of sleep a day. We need to start to eat, but we need to eat things that actually help our brain to function. So none of our neurotransmitters are created just automatically. It all comes from our food, and we know that things, you know, certain types of food will help our brain to look after itself. So look after your body if you want to look after your brain. So that's healthy activity. Then the A is activity. So we know again that if you do a certain amount of exercise a day, 20 minutes is what the research shows, that helps you to be, you know, it's as effective as taking an antidepressant for mild depression.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, but not just sports activity, but activity you enjoy, creative activity, for example, and no activity. So having a break in the middle of a day.
That's a big one, isn't it?
Absolutely. Or learning to be mindful, just slowing down for a moment is very helpful. Then the P in the first P of happy is positive thinking. And that's very much sort of trying to practice, you know, balancing out negative thinking against positive thinking, and trying to practice that, because that will definitely help you to look after your mental health. The next P is positive emotions, and loads of research indicates that actually one of the best ways to look after your mental health is to think about your emotions, because if you can understand your emotions, if you can learn to express them, you know, and it's nothing big again, you know, have a talk to somebody, you know, just have a conversation, maybe have a little smile, joke about something. But if you can express a variety of emotions, then that's a very, very helpful way. And then the last category, Y, is your connections. And if you make sure that you connect with people, and that connection again can be to, you know, see a friend, it can be to do something positive, that again helps you to do some sort of self-care. So if you can do one of each of those categories, you will be looking after your mental health.
Amazing. Dr. Nihara, thank you so much, and
Thank
we
you.
shall see you again very soon.
Thank you very much.
Well, everyone, now it's time to go over to Hannah Richards, and she'll be talking about taking care of our physical health and actually telling us about some foods that help to prevent cancer. Welcome to the show, Hannah.
Hi, Chrissy.
So we're taking a break from the cooking today.
We are.
But you're still going to give us some great ideas for some food that we can eat to help prevent cancer.
Absolutely.
Tell us about it.
Well, I think the big general idea of eating to be healthy and not create disease would be to eat food that was grown and organic and seasonal and colourful and all these things. So some of the best things to create health and therefore not create disease would be my #1 favourite, broccoli!
Yes.
Absolutely. Broccoli's got something in it called sulforaphane, and this is a really potent compound to help boost antioxidant levels and ward off any kind of disease going. So it's a vegetable as well in the cruciferous family, so it helps liver and gallbladder and detoxification, and all these things are helping the body move really well, be efficient. So broccoli, you can steam it. Don't use a microwave. It's really important not to use microwaves when you're wanting to create health, because you get rid of all the nutrients.
Really? Well, even if you're just heating up just to...
I would really keep vegetables steamed or raw for the best, the highest, the optimal levels of nutrients and vitamins available. Then you've got things like grapefruits and red peppers.
Just before you get to the grapefruits and red peppers, though, can you give us a recipe idea for broccoli? How would you use it?
Yeah, sure. So you know people do cauliflower rice these days.
Yeah.
Well, you can do the same with broccoli rice.
Okay.
So you can either put your broccoli, you could mix broccoli and cauliflower into your blender, and so raw.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you can sort of shallow fry it in a frying pan with some coconut oil, and put your herbs and spices, pepper and salt, and you've got a really nice different variation.
That sounds nice.
And you don't need to cook it for long. It just almost needs to get wet with the oil, bit of heat through it, and then you've got a really great accompaniment to your chicken or your fish or whatever.
Okay.
You can also, because broccoli's got lots of water in it, you could mix it with some almond meal, maybe some egg, and make sort of vegetable fritters. And then again, fry them in a frying pan. You could do them with sweet potato, you know, a bit like you know how you make little beef patties. Same with that. But just remember, they've got lots of water in them, so you almost have to squeeze the water out. Then you've got something called beta carotene, and beta carotene is a really strong antioxidant. So just remember, for you not to create cancer in the body or a state of disease, you want lots of antioxidants and not many free radicals. Free radicals are things like smoke, pollution, processed foods, and antioxidants almost get rid of kick out the free radicals. So anything...
some free radicals we can't avoid, can we? Because
we can't avoid them.
We live and...
Exactly, but the more abundant abundance of antioxidants we have in our lives, then we dampen down the free radicals. So grapefruit is a really lovely one with something called lycopene in it, like tomatoes have as well, again raw. So you could have a grapefruit. Grapefruit's not everyone's cup of tea, but you could freshly squeeze grapefruit with orange, and it's a super high dose of vitamin C in the morning. And the sweetness from the orange will counteract the bitterness of the grapefruit. Then you've got garlic, and garlic potential is just, it's sky's the limit for garlic. But if you had raw garlic, so you put a tiny bit of it in a juice, for example, a cold pressed juice, or even a blended juice, then you're getting really high amounts of this garlic. And garlic really helps keep the gut clean. And if the gut's clean, then we've got good bacteria, and good bacteria, again, it's going to fight off all the free radicals, all the baddies, all the pathogenic
Does it
bugs.
have to be raw though, or can it? Because it really does stink, doesn't it?
Well, some people, interestingly, it's a bit like asparagus. Some people don't smell of garlic when they eat it, just like sometimes, you know, when you eat asparagus, your urine can smell of asparagus.
That's just strange.
But the same with garlic. But anyway, no. So yes, if garlic is in your life in any shape or form, then it's a good thing. It's just the most optimal when it's raw. And it's also brilliant for the heart. So an old ancient way of medicinal healing would just be to chew on a garlic clove every day, and that would make sure that all the arteries in your blood vessels will keep nice and open, keeping you having a nice healthy heart.
Interesting.
So the take home is basically the brighter the colour of the food, the more varied food you eat. So a really good rainbow salad, a really lovely berry fruit salad that you could have for breakfast, peppers. My favourite one is 2 peppers, a pepper, cut it in half, stuff it with lots of things, bake it in the oven, and you've got a beta carotene delight of antioxidants.
Sounds amazing.
Vegetables are your best thing for anti-cancer. Hands down, they must be in your life, and they must be raw and steamed. They mustn't see the inside of a microwave. That's a big no-no.
Brilliant. Hannah, thank you so much for the great advice as usual.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you again soon.
Hopefully, with some broccoli.
Yes, with some broccoli. Watch this space. Okay, everybody, so after the break, Helena Chard brings you the news around today's main topic, and Dr. Rob Hicks answers your medical questions in this week's Doctor's Answers segment. And here's one of the questions we received. At what age does one expect to start experiencing menopause and all of its drastic symptoms? Eek! Find out after this. I'm Chrissy B, host of the UK's only TV programme dedicated to mental health and well-being, The Chrissy B Show, which airs on MyTV Sky 191 every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Follow our social media on YouTube, Instagram and Twitter at Chrissy B Show and our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. For more information, visit chrissybshow.tv. Welcome back to today's program, everybody, where we are talking mainly about self-care. So now we have on Dr. Rob Hicks to answer all of your medical questions. Hello, Rob.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Well, I'm very well because I've been self-caring.
Good. How have you been doing that then?
Taking time out, just to have a few minutes every hour, just to relax and just dream, really.
Brilliant. Yeah. And something very important, Rob, that we do have to say, people do have to make time to go to see their GP if they need to.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes
and not to be
people
frightened to ask any question at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so shall we start with the questions, Rob?
Good.
Okay, so this viewer is saying, at what age does one expect to start experiencing menopause and all of its drastic symptoms? Eek!
That's a good question.
Yes.
I like the eek at the end.
Is there?
Well, the age range of going through the menopause is anywhere between the age of 45 and 55, and here in the UK the average age for women to go through the menopause is age 51. In response to your eek, it's fair to say that not every woman going through the menopause gets unpleasant symptoms.
Hey.
So that's something to sort of try and be positive about. If you should go through the menopause and get some of the symptoms, so for example, the night sweats, the hot flushes, the problems with mood, anxiety, problems with concentration and focusing and memory, for example, or sex-related problems like low libido or vaginal dryness, then there are treatments available to relieve these symptoms. So, for example, certainly hormone replacement therapy can be used for some women, and that can be in different forms. It might be in tablets, it might be in a patch, for example. For those who have vaginal dryness, for example, then there are creams and gels and lubricants available. And also, actually, many women find that living a healthy lifestyle with a healthy diet, regular exercise, not smoking, managing their stress, actually helps as well. So I think this is a natural part of life. It happens where estrogen levels fall, and therefore a woman stops having periods and is therefore not able to biologically have children. So it's a natural process in life that women go through, but it's not inevitable that you will have symptoms, but be reassured that if you do, there's plenty of treatments out there to keep those symptoms under control.
Brilliant. Next question, Rob. I recently read a study talking about the symptoms of a lack of iron, which talked about some things that I've been experiencing, such as ice craving?
Yes, yes.
Hair loss, restless legs and feeling tired. But I take iron tablets even though they make me constipated, and I drink orange juice even though it makes my stomach tight and causes cramps if I drink a lot of it. What can I do? Ice cravings?
Yeah, well, cravings for ice, but also cravings for eating odd sorts of foods is a possible symptom. It's not one of the common ones.
Like pica?
Yes,
pica syndrome.
yes, exactly. So the common symptoms of anemia, obviously, tiredness, looking pale, sometimes shortness of breath, that dizziness, lightheadedness, that sort of thing. My advice to you initially would be, to have a checkup with your doctor, simply to establish whether you are actually iron deficient, or whether your symptoms are related to another medical condition. So an underactive thyroid could be responsible for some of your symptoms. It could be. Diabetes could be responsible for the tiredness, or depression, may be responsible for the way that you're feeling overall. So I think it's important to establish first off, are you iron deficient? And then if you are, and you're taking the right supplements and you're eating an iron-rich diet, so lots of meat and green leafy vegetables and foods fortified with iron, cereals, breads, for example, then is it an issue that actually you're simply not absorbing the iron into your system? So, I mean, the common causes for iron deficiency: blood loss. So for women, it's through heavy periods, bleeding from the gut, often in response to taking too many anti-inflammatory drugs, not getting the iron in the diet. Pregnancy is another common cause of iron deficiency, but also, as I mentioned, not absorbing the iron. So I think in the first instance, let's get to the bottom, go and see a GP, get to the bottom of are you iron deficient, and then you'll be advised on what steps to take.
Wonderful. And last question for today, Rob. What is endometriosis? Can it be contracted or is it hereditary?
That's a really good question. Endometriosis simply means that the cells that normally line the womb and that are lost, usually monthly with a period, are actually found elsewhere in the body. So they can be found in the fallopian tubes and the ovaries. They can be found on the gut. They can be found anywhere. So there are reports of these cells being found in the lungs and indeed in the eyes. It's not contracted, although, and actually nobody knows precisely what causes endometriosis. There are lots of theories, and one is that yes, genes can be handed down from one parent to a child, to a woman, and that leaves the woman predisposed to developing or an increased risk of endometriosis herself. But again, it's not inevitable that she will do. Then there's the theory about what we call retrograde menstruation, so which basically means the period, some of the blood from a period, instead of coming out of the body, goes backwards up into the fallopian tubes, and that's how those cells then stick in the fallopian tubes and get to the ovaries. And then there are issues about whether it's related to the immune system, whether it's the fact that some cells in the body can change from one type into another type of cell. So there are, is it related sometimes to environmental toxins is another theory. So there are lots of theories. And the problem with endometriosis is that it causes women pain in their abdomen and in their pelvis. It causes period pain, the like of which means that a woman can't get on with usual everyday activities. It can cause heavy periods. It can cause pain during and after sex, and it can affect the ability to fall pregnant. In fact, one of the complications of endometriosis and how it's often first diagnosed is when a woman is struggling to fall pregnant. On the positive side, endometriosis can be treated, and often that's with painkillers, hormones, or sometimes surgery to remove parts of the body, the organs that are covered in those endometriotic cells. Because the problem that causes the pain is that these cells are there. They want to be gotten rid of at the time of the period, but they can't. They can't be. But the real reassuring thing is that there are lots of treatments available.
Wonderful, Rob. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And we shall see you again next week.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you. Well, everyone, now it's time to go over to Helena Chard in this week's A Helping of Happy. Welcome to the show, Helena.
Thank you, Chrissy.
So what do you have in the news for us today?
I have lots of things to talk about, but I have to talk about one very special thing, about a very special person who received an award recently, an IRA award, Miss Chrissy Boudreau.
Near enough.
Yeah, it was the International Achievement Recognition Award.
Yes.
And we're all very, very proud of you.
Well, thank you so much. And I couldn't do the show without you guys, though.
Oh, I know. I think as a team, we're very proud.
Yes.
I'm proud
Thank
to be
you
part
very
of the whole
much.
journey, which is great. Moving on, so we've had London Fashion Week, which has been really successful, and Alexa Chung, who's a very talented woman in lots of ways, presenter, model, fashionista. She has a great collection out. But the main thing that was intriguing for me was she has written an article about how she has imposter syndrome, which I find incredibly interesting, yes. And apparently 70% of men and women during their life at some point actually go through this. And it's a feeling, and she's always had it from being quite young, and the fact that she's talking about it is brilliant. So she almost feels like a fraud, that she's not good enough. And like she'd be on TV presenting and she'd be thinking, oh my God, it's not me, why am I doing this? This always doubting herself.
Yeah.
But she's so accomplished. But it's actually very serious, psychological. It can be very, very debilitating.
It's the first time I've heard of this, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
It would be quite a good show.
Yeah.
But she was just saying, well, the whole thing is it can actually be the downfall of you if you're in a high position job, because you can actually overwork yourself out to burn out, or you can self-sabotage, which is another thing. But she's great. And also Maya Angelou as well. She suffered with it. And she, at the time where she talked about being found been uncovered as a fraud. She had a Pulitzer Prize and I think 11 successful books out at that time.
Wow.
So it's a sort of genuine thing.
Wow.
There you go.
Interesting.
A really nice little story about Paul Barton, who, again, a very accomplished pianist, and he, day in, day out, would have his suit on, he'd get on stage and do his stuff, but he just got bored and fed up and decided he needed more purpose in his life, more direction. And he'd been going to Thailand and helping out with elephants, which is a very different side to him. So he decided he was going to perform for them.
Perform for elephants?
For the elephants, for the sanctuary. The elephants, were, a lot of them were blind and obviously needed looking after. So he did it, and he couldn't believe the reaction of these elephants, who absolutely loved it. Well, they all like trumping, and as in like,
so
you know, and just sitting there watching it and really happy, some joining in because they had another piano or something, and just really, really, really excited. So he filmed it, and it was for a charitable purpose to raise money for the sanctuary. But then realised that they loved it so much, and he just regularly does this performance thing for them.
Cute.
But so now he's so excited.
Yeah,
it's really different, isn't it? It's really nice. New research about saunas, but this was actually professionals talking about, but it's Finnish saunas, which are that much hotter.
I can't even take a normal one. I can't stay in one at all. I'm really terrible
I'm
at
not
that.
too good at that either, but something they're like 80 to 100 degrees, and the average Finnish person is they go at least once a week, but normally 2 to 3 times a week, and it would be something like 5 to 20 minutes in there, but at 100 degrees. God. And it's incredible for alleviating so many conditions, not just skin diseases, arthritis, headache, flu, but you know, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, pulmonary disease, mental health disorders. I mean, there's huge amounts. Yeah, so
maybe we should try again.
I think we should. I think we should.
We should go together and just try and sit in there for. I can do like maximum 5 minutes, and then I'm out. And then I feel sick and I feel dizzy and like, maybe we're not doing it right.
Try again. I know, absolutely. Just going to quickly touch on this. And Emma Wilding and Barbara Wilding, friends of mine, daughter Emma and Barbara, mother, they went on a self-love spa break for a couple of days. To have a really relaxed time. It was self-care in a sense for Barbara, because she needed to be away from her husband, who has element of dementia. Anyway, they had some treatments. Barbara had reflexology. She got incredibly ill, as in, you know, being sick and various things, and it was discovered that it was incredible amount of stress.
Wow.
The 2 days
stress can cause a lot of problems.
So although she felt she was coping with things, it's obviously had got to her, and it was lovely that they went away, but it was a little bit too late. So she's obviously healing now, but it should have been like 2 years earlier.
So this is the thing, this is the problem, like I was saying earlier with Nihara, is that sometimes we wait till something goes wrong or something happens before we start taking care of ourselves, and we should be automatically doing it anyway, because that is showing love to ourselves.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I have a really lovely one, but I think I haven't got enough time, have we?
Go on quickly, you can do it 30 seconds.
So Des Mahanan, Irish, 84, absolutely fabulous guy. He went to Debenhams to teach himself how to apply makeup. Not on himself. His wife, who is losing her sight progressively, Mona, who's 83, one of her loves in life was to do her makeup, and he wants her to be, you know, feel special every day. He now can apply it perfectly. It makes him feel special for doing, you know, so it's that like reward thing. But for her, makeup makes her feel ready to face the world. So it's a very sweet story, isn't it?
I'm glad you fit that one in, because that's lovely.
Me too.
Thank you so much, Helena.
Thank you very much.
See you again next week.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, everyone, after the break, we have on business expert Chelsea Baker to talk about achieving happiness in the workplace, which is of course vital to take care of a business. And Sani Soma will be talking about self-care when it comes to beauty.
Dancers really help people to actually come out from what they're going through, apart from medication, doctors, or anything that they have to do. What we need to do is, instead of thinking so much about medication that is so much to come into our bodies, it's more that what feeling we feel in our hearts.
Welcome back to today's program, everybody, where we are focusing on self-care. So here's business expert Chelsea Baker on how to achieve happiness in the workplace.
Hello, my name's Chelsea Baker and I'm an award-winning business mentor and resident business expert here on the show. Today, I'm going to talk about happiness in the workplace and share some thoughts, tips and ideas on how to keep your workforce and your customers happy. Number one, nip bad news in the bud. The handling of bad news is one of the ways people can become demotivated and unhappy in the workplace. People really do remember bad things much longer than good things, and rumours can often spiral out of control. So it's essential to nip bad news in the bud quickly. Where possible, I'd recommend communicate any issues or problems early, face to face, to avoid any miscommunication and further gossip. All businesses have bad news at some point or another, so don't delay and let it fester. Instead, try explaining the reasons behind your actions, why you've done what you've done, and the solution or your next course of action. Remember to keep people on side. For example, having a pay cut is terrible news, but it may be preferable than laying everyone off. Try and eliminate the reasons why people are unhappy at work. Research shows people who are happy at work, they stay at work. My second tip is give rewards. Think how you can give employees and customers something extra. Everyone likes to feel appreciated and special. You can recognise good performance or skills by having an Employee of the Month. Treat people individually and recognise their individual skills and merits. You can use incentives and employee perks such as free use of a gym, spa days, a bonus incentive scheme to share in the good times, or discounts, special discounts to make people feel special. Why not consider arranging a presentation evening where you present an award, a plaque, a medal, or even a certificate? A personal email to thank customers or staff really can go a long way. This raises people's happiness levels as their efforts are being acknowledged and appreciated. My next tip is communicate. Communication is by its nature both ways, so tell people what you intend or plan to do, but ask for their feedback and suggestions as well, which may prove to be invaluable to you. Simply saying, "This is what we think, what do you think?" will go a long way. Give everyone a voice and allow them to have their say. Then they'll be made to feel like they were a part of the decision-making process and part of the solution. Communication is key and should be both ways, so employees feel their concerns have really been listened to. Otherwise, they could be left demoralised, demotivated and alienated from the plans. So do a survey to find out if they are happy at work or if their needs are being met. If you communicate well, they are much more likely to be happier and more on board with your ideas to come. My next tip is show the bigger picture, paint the bigger picture, make people feel special, no matter who your employees are. How do they fit in to the company? Make sure their contributions are known and counted. From delivery drivers to interns to cooks and factory workers, they might feel just a small peg in a company. So let them feel and know their work is important, and they are an important cog within the overall vision of the company. Explain that what they are doing is worthwhile and important, and they are more likely to feel happier at work. My next tip is optimization. If you give people the right tools, they'll perform well and to the best of their ability. If people don't have the right equipment, or they have the wrong equipment, or they feel they haven't got the right tools for the job, they will very quickly become disgruntled and unhappy. As Napoleon said, an army marches on its stomach, so look after your workforce and their well-being. If you manage a team, ask them what they want. What do they want to see? Maybe you can introduce a mentoring program or give them training on the latest technology or training for their own personal development. An unhappy workforce really can lead to a less productive, demotivated, higher rate of staff turnover, not to mention time off sick. My last tip is to make people feel like they belong. Avoid the them and us approach. Your aim should be to get everyone all pulling together. So perhaps try organising a team building or away day to help people bond together as a group. This will really help people in understanding each other better. When things go wrong, people are much more likely to help each other out if they know each other and they've bonded. So that's it from me, and I hope my suggestions make for a happier workplace.
Thank you very much to Chelsea for those great tips there. So now it's time to talk to makeup artist Sani Sorma, and she's going to be talking about self-care when it comes to beauty.
Hi, my name is Sani Sorma and I am the resident makeup artist here at the Chrissy B Show. And today I'm going to talk to you about how taking care of your skin is actually a little bit like taking care of your health. Now, skin is the largest organ of our body, and so we do need to pay special attention. And I've got some couple of really quick tips on what you can do to keep your skin healthy that might not be 100%, obvious. The first one is, and this is for everyone, especially that lives in these big polluted cities like I live in London, is to really cleanse your skin and double cleanse, if not triple cleanse. So I triple cleanse my skin, and yes, I know it sounds like a bit of a chore, but it's actually pretty simple. So first I take off my makeup with a makeup remover and a little cotton wool. So that's step one. Then I use an oil-based cleanser to kind of really get into all of my pores and get rid of all the grime that only oil will get rid of. And then the third step is I just use a foaming cleanser to really rinse out all of the oily cleanser, but also any kind of last remaining residue from the day before. And it really has made a big difference on my skin health. Now, the second one is a bit of an odd one, and it's actually using antiseptic wipes to clean your phone. Now, I take the underground all the time. I'm using my phone, I'm touching things, my hands are dirty, I can't guarantee that this isn't covered in all sorts of bacteria. So I just buy these antiseptic wipes. Every night when I get home, I wipe both the back of my phone and the front of my phone with the antiseptic wipes to get rid of any kind of grime. And before I started doing that, I used to regularly, so I always use my phone, I hold it in my left hand, and I used to break out a lot more on my left side, and it's probably due to not only holding the phone but also the bacteria that is there, and now I don't anymore, which is great. Now, the third one is an obvious one, but it is so important that I kind of I will keep banging on about it, and it is wearing sunscreen. Now, you don't have to do a separate sunscreen, as long as you make sure that you either have a moisturizer or a foundation, if you wear foundation, that has a sunscreen. Now, in Britain, we probably feel like you don't necessarily need to do it during the winter months, but in the winter I do wear it, but I drop to a lower one, a 15 or a 20, even on cloudy days. It is protecting your skin, and it is, skin cancer is on the rise, unfortunately, and it is such a simple step that not only make sure that you protect your skin from very dangerous things like skin cancer, but also keeps you looking younger for longer, so that's not a bad thing either. And the fourth one is actually kind of all the way from China. So face mapping. Face mapping is an ancient Chinese art of looking at the face and figuring out what's wrong in different parts of the body. And this is a face map, and just as a quick example, the chin area relates to hormones. And I've noticed on myself, when it's that time of the month, I always get pimples on my chin area. So it's like, it is quick and obvious. But you can download these from online, and you can kind of analyze the areas of your face and see if, for example, there might be something that you could be doing better for your stomach, and so on. So those are my quick tips about how to take care of your skin and essentially taking care of your health. So my name is Sunny, and I am going to see you again soon.
Thank you very much to the lovely Sani Sorma. So now it's time to go to my final thought of the day. Thank you to all my guests on today's program, to Kelly for sharing her real life story, and of course to our resident guests who come on regularly on this show because they genuinely care about our viewers and want to help them look after their mental health and well-being. So something that I did draw from today's program that I'd like to emphasize is the matter of actually taking care of yourself even before something seemingly negative happens. Because there does seem to be a tendency of, you know, we kind of think that we can just keep going and we try and push ourselves. Sometimes it's a case of, oh, I'm too busy, for example, to go to the doctor. I'm too busy to exercise. I'm too busy to do this, or to even rest sometimes, which is an issue that I used to have in terms of, I used to think that sitting down and having a bit of a rest or having a lay down was a waste of time. But it did actually catch up on me in the end. So we have to kind of get rid of this mentality that it's wrong to take time out to take care of ourselves, because it really isn't. It does avoid so many issues from developing, but also it just makes you feel happier when you look up, when you're eating well, when you're exercising, when you take time to rest, when you take time to do the things that you like doing, that you love doing, you are actually making yourself a lot happier. So definitely, if you have actually been neglecting any area of your life where you need to take care of yourself, for example, when was the last time that you had a checkup at your doctor? You've had maybe some symptoms, you're feeling tired, or you have certain pains in places, and when did you actually go and check out what was happening? When did you get your blood pressure checked, for example? When did you last go to the dentist? When did you last have your eyes checked? So all of these things, all to do with self-care. And also, if you are going through something, you're worried about something, when was the last time you actually spoke to someone? Or are you trying to just manage everything by yourself, and you think, oh, if I tell anyone what I'm feeling, I'm weak, or I should be able to cope, I should be able to manage all of this, especially parents. Sometimes you think you have to be Superman, Superwoman to be there for your children, but what about you? You need also to talk to people when you're feeling a bit overwhelmed. So please, guys, don't think that it's wrong or it's a waste of time to take care of ourselves. It really isn't. It helps you to be happier, but also to be a better friend, a better partner, a better parent, better employee. It just helps you be a more well-rounded individual in general. Well, everyone, we have reached the end of today's program, but if you have a story that you would like to share, like Kelly did earlier, please do get in touch with us. You can email us on info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also contact us on our social media. Twitter and Instagram is @ChrissyB and Facebook is The Chrissy B Show. And if you'd like to know more about me and also about my mental health journey, you can visit my personal website, which is mylifeafterdepression.com. Till next time, bye-bye for now.